You know who it is. It's Blue Rocks right here. And you know where you are, the Sequence Society. Today on the Sequence Society, we going into that iPad production, because it is going down. All the hardware seems like it's getting up out of here. When we come back, iPad production, the Sequence Society. Let's go. And we're back. Welcome to the Sequence Society. Today, like I said, we're going to talk about iPad production because over the years, I don't know if people have noticed, you producers and engineers alike have to have noticed that the premise of what we're uploading, downloading, and bouncing out has changed over the years. Before, you had to use, like, we were using the MPC or the ASR-10, and after you were done with the beat, you had to bounce your 8 out. You know, you had to bounce tracks out of 8 outs. That's 8 outputs. And if your track was more than 8 outputs, you had to what's called routing. And after you routed the 8, then you'd have to use your 9th sound, would have to go to channel 1 again and continue on, so on and so forth. Well, things have changed. And due to the changes, it has also changed a lot of studios and a lot of production and how it's done, made, and facilitated. The iPad. The iPad has become the new model of digital production. Ever since, I would say, GarageBand, Logic, Reason, Studio One, Fruity Loops, etc. had come on the scene, and you know, they kind of took over the production world because you had more sounds, you had more functionality to do more production work, and it became a great thing. What happened is, us as engineers, producers, and just ideologists, we always want things faster, easier, smaller. So what has happened is, the iPad has really taken over the production market and really came up with some great, or let me say incredible, apps that you can use that makes production such an easy task. And today I'm going to name a few, what they do, and I'm going to keep it short and simple, and you can go get an iPad and try some of these yourself. Because I know there's some producers out there going, there's no way that I could, well, believe it, it's being done. And really, I want to say, like, GarageBand. I mean, let's just start with GarageBand because they were one of the first apps I seen on the iPad that had full, beautiful sound, like 32-bit sound. And, you know, it was just crazy how I'm watching Brian from Jagged Edge. He's sitting there in my studio and he's like, well, I'm going to make this beat first. And I'm like, he didn't come in with anything. And he goes in his book bag and he pulls out an iPad, and I plug up, you know, the auxiliary cord so he can hear it loud, but he's making this beat. And I'm like, a beat? An iPad? And I couldn't believe it. But me being who I am, I don't let nobody beat me. So I went ahead and purchased the iPad myself, found out, you know, it was GarageBand that he was using at the time, and I went and did it myself and noticed that it was a very innovative new thing. Now, let's fast forward, because I'm talking about 3 years ago. That's right, this iPad production thing has started a long time ago. But what people don't realize, and I'm going to keep this short and brief because my show is only 10 minutes long, digital production started in the 80s. If you go to Google and look up a program named Voyetra was almost the first digital production there was. You needed hardware, but it powered all your stuff through MIDI. All your channels and everything was powered, and you can separate. It kind of looked like Fruity Loops today. Just think of it in a DOS version. DOS, that's before Windows. But anyway, nowadays, fast forward to 2014, 2015, the iPad production has taken it to an all-new height. And why I say that is because now there are programs such as Beatmaker, Animoog, Sector, AUFX, iSymphonic Orchestra, which is a beautiful, it has all the great elements of an orchestra sound, all your strings, all your brasses and everything. Korg, which, Korg is smart. Korg is always ahead of the curve. They've come up with a few new apps themselves. Beatmaker, who is through Intua software, which to me, that's what I use. Beatmaker seems to me to be the best production that there is when it comes to the production. Reason being is that you have your drum pads like an MPC, you also have your keyboard and all the elements of sounds that you need. Also, you can pull in your own sounds, WAV or MP3, and do your own production. So where it worked for me was I was using the ASR-10 and the MPC, and the fact that I can pull my sounds into the iPad and use those sounds adverse to sounds that came with the software, it just made my production level go to a whole new height, because now I can sit on my couch, I can lay in my bed, I'm not forced and subjected to be within the studio confine to make my production. Now, after I'm done, it's as simple as Dropbox in sending all your tracks separated to Pro Tools. And then from there, you'd add your necessary effects to make your sound what it needs to be. But when I come back, I'm also going to tell you about another part of the iPad. That's the app side. That's the different apps. Like I said, there's Jam Up, there's Bias, there's Korg, Electube, there's Ginstrument. There's a ton of them, man. I mean, down to the Korg module. Remember, Korg came out with that module piece? They've taken it down to iPad, and everything works. Everything, the touch sensitivity is impeccable. When I come back, I'm going to tell you about the sounds of iPad here on the Sequence Society. We'll be right back. And we're back. Welcome back to the Sequence Society. This is Blue Rocks right here. And if you're just tuning in, it's just a few minutes left. But what we are talking about is iPad production and how it has taken over the industry. And you probably missed, if you did, we were going through the different sequencers, which is what they are, the sequencers that you can use to make production. Now, my last piece is to tell you about where you can get great sounds. Now, of course, you can search and get all the kits and all that. You just search online and put in kits, sound kits, and you'll see all these producer kits pop up, the Kanye West, the Premiers, the Dre's, and not saying use their sounds, but in the beginning stages when you're getting and formulating your content, pull some good sounds that you already know were mixed and mastered and used in previous things. So your sound, that's a secret. It's a sound that, makes you pump up. In the meantime, and these things do cost, there are sounds that really, really will enhance your production. Cubases, that's a Cubase. Everybody knows Cubase. Like I said, GarageBand has great sounds, but you also have Looptical, you have Multitrack Studio, you have Musk, you have Thesis, and you have Big Drums. You have this other one called DM1, it's a Finger Lab, and Earhoof. Now, and Funkbox. Let me not forget Funkbox. Funkbox has great synths. Now, if you take everything that I say together and you grab one of the DAWs and you go get the sounds, you'll notice that you can make some great, great music. Also, if anything and you want to talk to me, ask me any questions, you can reach me at thesequencesociety@gmail.com. And also, you could also reference everything I said at iPadmusic.com. My name is Blue Rocks, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching the Sequence Society.